pick up the pencil. You're about to listen to the Savvy Radio Show. Learn from real-life real estate investors, experience revealed with the Savvy Landlord as your host.
Okay, savvy friends out there, investors, newbies, all types of people, girls, guys, boys, children, whatever, the world, listening to the Savvy Radio Show. I got a special treat. Every treat's a special treat, but this one is what we went all the way back to the beginning. It is my pleasure to introduce Andrew Gasper. He is a 25-year-old rookie, newbie, investor, whatever you want to call it. I randomly have bumped elbows with this guy in the last, I don't know, month or two?
About 2 months.
About 2 months.
Yeah.
He's got a crazy story that I think is very powerful for the folks out there that want to make a difference in their life, that are tired of following someone else's dream or following someone else's plan. And real quick, he's going to go into a lot more detail, but he is a therapist, was a therapist. That what we're going to get into. This guy grew big balls and just quit his job to pursue real estate. And we'll get into all of that here in a minute. And he was a friend of mine, Pat Poynton. He's been on the show, was injured in recovery, and ran into Andrew. And like Pat, he's like sharing the gospel of real estate investing. And spent a lot of time with Andrew and invited him to a landlord lunch, and then invited him to a couple of my classes. And we're going to get into those details here in a minute. And so no HIPAA laws out there, folks, all you anal detail people. Yes, he met this guy while doing surgery. I don't know what the frick he does, but we're about to find out. Anyway, Andrew, welcome to the show. What up, homie?
Hey, what's up? Thanks for having me.
Oh, yeah. I'm stoked. So let's get this straight. How'd you hear about real estate? Or, give me a little background. Where are you from? I'm assuming that you have a college degree because you couldn't be a therapist. You're a therapist, right?
I worked in cardiac rehab, so I was an exercise specialist. We had nurses and exercise physiologists, and we came up with their prescription to get their heart in better shape after like bypasses, stents. So also sometimes preventative. Okay.
And you're more on the therapy side, like physical, like athletics and
kind of.
Okay, or supplements and all that.
I don't do many supplements,
nutrition.
But yeah.
Okay. So you went to school. Where'd you go to school at?
I went to OU. I graduated 2013 with a bachelor's of science in health and exercise science.
Okay, so where'd you get this dream of being in science or being, a therapist? Is a therapist? Is that the right terminology? Was it physical?
It might offend some people who went to a little bit more school.
Okay,
than
like
me.
I'm uneducated, so let's get that out there. But what's your dumb title? I mean, not dumb title. What's your title?
Well, in the end, I was the supervisor for the wellness center, so dealt with organizing.
All right, what's your bachelor's? What's your undergrad in? Medicine?
Health and exercise science.
Okay,
it's a big.
All right, whatever. So you work in the medical field, helping people that are recovering from heart surgery or heart stents. Okay, got it.
Yeah, that's what I
So
got
what
into.
made you decide to be in that field? Like, you just flipped a coin, or you know somebody? How'd you get down? How'd you decide to go to OU and be a medical somebody?
Well, I actually went to community college first because I had no idea what I wanted to do.
Smart.
I got to about 18. I was dating the same girl for a year, and she was like, we're not going to continue this if you're not going to school. So I was like, all right, well, I'll go to school. I had no idea what I wanted to do.
Is this the girl you just married?
This is the girl I just married.
Okay,
so
cool.
it worked out in the end.
Cool. Well, he's a newlywed, just got married in October. Okay. So she kind of nudged you, and you're only 25, so you were what, 23 around that time? Well,
no, I was
junior college.
I was just out of high school, so I was 18 at that time when I went to junior college.
Oh, and then she's the one that pushed you to go to junior college. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
We'd been dating for a year at the time, and so I went to
that's fun.
OCCC, and
I went there.
Started with a business management associates, and then decided I was like, I'll do teaching, and then I was doing some other stuff, and I was overweight, so I started getting healthier, working out more.
Cool.
researched OU and then saw that they had a health and exercise science program, so I transferred to OU after 2 years at OCCC.
So you went through a struggle, okay, and then
Yeah.
you wanted to help other people? Is
Yeah.
that kind of the main gist? And it's interesting. I don't think anyone, I know when I was 27, I just realized I need to do something. So you're already kind of ahead of the game.
Yeah.
All right, so then you went to OU, got a bachelor's, and then you went and got a job. I mean, was it really easy to do? Did it pay what you needed to pay? Like, how'd you choose that place?
That place actually got started out working weekends. They needed someone to work like 6 hours on a Saturday, and so that's what I started out doing, and it then switched to 13 hours on a Saturday and 13 hours on a Sunday. And
Dang.
After about 5 months, right before I graduated, they offered me a full-time job.
Cool.
And
you were a supervisor? Is that the title?
Yeah, I got supervisor later on, but at that time I was just like a personal trainer.
Okay.
So.
And then you just saw random people and just to help
Yeah.
them to get out of this situation, basically, to recover.
Yeah.
Okay. So you did this for a while, right? For how long did you do that job for?
That was 2012 is when I started, so I've been doing it since
Almost 3 years? Or?
Yeah.
Okay, right on. And then all of a sudden you get the private money master as it called, the client or individual case?
He was a patient. He has told everybody about how he met me. So
okay, so how did it go down? Like, hey, you got this recovery, older gentleman.
Slightly before I met Pat, I had actually been looking into real estate when I was younger. When I was 16, I went to a Wealth Intelligence Academy, Russ Whitney Academy with my mom. I think actually I was her last resort guest, but I went with her and got interested after that.
And you were 16?
I was 16.
Cool.
After that, I looked in, started reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad, a couple other his books, and then my mom got the bright idea, and I mean, it was a good idea at the time. I had fun, but we went to Vegas for like a super conference with this
seminar.
Yeah. So we went to Vegas. It was my first time in Vegas.
And you were still, how old were you then?
Stuff. 16.
Okay, cool.
I was actually the youngest person in the conference. They had me come on stage.
So your mom was motivated. She wanted a different change in her life. She got the real estate bug of sorts.
Yeah.
And she went flew you and her to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
We need to get that chick on the deal. All right, cool. So I like the motivation. All right, so you're there in Las Vegas. Anything touched you? You just went there and had a great time?
Yeah, I mean, we had a great time. We went to these different classes, and a lot of people, they were selling stuff, and so we got some of it, looked into some of it. But my mom was about 45 at the time, so she was a little, I mean, I could say a little older, but she had fear. She was scared.
But she was looking.
So, yeah. So we never ended up doing it. When I was younger, I realized, I kept looking at how I could do real estate, and I realized no one was going to give me money at the age of 16, 17 years old.
So they kind of put it on the hold.
Yeah, and that's when I
But it was an interest. That's cool.
That's when I started looking into community colleges shortly after that,
Did you ever wonder, thought you would ever be in real estate? Or when you got in the medical field, I mean, obviously 3 years you committed, working all these long hours, they must have saw something amazing inside of you. They made you the supervisor. Did you ever think that was your career when you became the supervisor? Like, that's it, I'm in medical, I want to be healthy, be a trainer?
Yeah, well, I enjoyed what I was doing, like working with the patients and everything. And
seeing them develop.
Yeah, with clients. And that was a lot of fun because you could see the progress with people and how better they felt. But I didn't like the fact I was working for someone else. I didn't, like you said earlier, working for someone else's dream. I at the time just wanted a job.
Sure, or you had bills to pay.
Yeah, I was one of the only kids that people graduating that I knew that actually had a job getting out of college.
Well, most people are on their couch playing video games at your age. Even 25, I don't know if that seems old to you, but I still remember when I was 27, I was like, I got to do something with my life, and I got Rich Dad Poor Dad. Okay, so let's refine. So this guy enters your life, and then he strike up a conversation. How did it go down?
Yeah, well, I was talking to him, and he said something about real estate, and I was like, hey, I've been looking into doing that for like a long time.
For 9 years.
Yeah. Well, I lost track of it through college, but yeah, it came right back up, and then, after I started reading a book again, I met Pat.
Okay,
and so
cool.
that's my law of attraction right there. You start focusing on something, and then something's going to come into your life. And so I met Pat, and Pat told me about all the Millionaire Possibility RIA, the OKC RIA, because I didn't know where everything was in the city. And so actually, the landlord luncheon was the first one I came to.
Cool.
That was a lot of
fun. So then, do you remember what that class was about?
That one was insurance.
Great. So it was
Pat
boring.
told me to save a seat, and he showed up like 15 minutes late, and there was no seats left.
That's funny. That's cool. So you did it. All right. So and then have you been to the RIAs at all? Have you been to
yeah, I've been to Millionaire Possibility. I was on vacation when the last one happened.
Okay. So you met Pat. He juiced you up. Said, "Hey, come to this deal." You came to this deal. Mm-hmm. So you've been reading books. You got the bug. Law of attraction. Love that you said that. We're going to touch base on that later. But so then what? Like, I met you a couple times. Mm-hmm. You had always had good questions. You were patient after every class. You're like, wanted to know more, wanted to learn more. Then you mentioned, I think, once before that you were going to quit your job, and I got a little nervous because people that quit their job, it's awesome. You burn the bridge behind you. That's what my wife says. I can't go back. My wife just quit an amazing medical job. She was a therapist, radiation therapist. She would help people with cancer. And a year later, she's been out 2014, so a year and some change, and they actually called her back and said, hey, would you come and work again? And we talked about it, and I was like, oh, go do it. It's great money, pays crazy money to love on people before they're going to die in cancer, whatever. I can't do that, but you can. She's like, no, I can't. Then I'll get sucked back into the system. And she burnt the bridge. She's, I'm going to burn all the bridges behind me. So it's remarkable. So tell these listeners how it went down. Like, and then you're married, with a wife who's, you're the provider, and you just took a giant leap of faith. So give us as much detail as you can.
So when we were on vacation right before the private money class that you and Pat did,
okay,
and I was talking about how I just wasn't happy with what I was doing, so I came to that private money class and sitting there, and I'm like, I got to do this. Like, I'm gonna make a 100% commitment to doing real estate, investing in. So I told my wife. She got home about midnight that night after work, and I was like, tomorrow I want to put my 2 weeks notice. And she was like,
yeah, what'd she say?
She actually, it was a good thing we had talked about it a week before, so she wasn't 100% on board, but
she didn't say no, though.
She didn't say no. And the good thing is actually she makes a little bit more than me, actually a lot more than me.
My wife did too. I love it.
She gave me a timeline for us to measure some success. And,
so we need to get you rolling. Okay, keep going.
Yeah, after that, then we got to reevaluate and see where I'm going at that point.
Cool. Now you surrounded yourself with an awesome mom. Well, you can't. I guess you can't make that choice, but you got an awesome mom.
Yeah. And
then you got this wife that was supportive of sorts.
Yeah, very supportive.
So, like, was there a number, like 6 months, a year?
A year.
Okay, a year. And then, as a man, as a breadwinner of sorts that we think we are, I mean, are you nervous about? I mean, how are you going to try to make money? Like, have you calculated it? I mean, you know in your head that you should buy assets, right? Money comes in automatically every month when they pay the rent. Got it. Pay your mortgage. You're smart enough. You got a degree. You can figure that out. But how are you going to make quick money? Like some people, have you thought about that? Have you thought about how long this is going to take? You go through your train of thinking, or how'd you sell her on that situation? Because she's probably thinking dollar bills, right, of sorts.
Yeah. She's thinking about that. So, what my goal is I want to build a lot of assets. Next year, I would like to obtain like one property a month. So my goal is
12 units.
Yeah, 12 units property. for the year. And so my then income that I would do is wholesaling. So if I can wholesale some deals in between each of those, then that's going to give me some quick cash while I'm building my assets.
Okay, great.
And I want to use as much private money as I can. So that's why I went to that private money class with you and Pat, is to learn how to get these private money people to
you've heard the podcast with Sean, right, McVicker?
Yeah.
You need to kick it with him because he's your age, and I mean he has so much to say, but he went all in too.
Yeah.
Now he's, I mean, what's rolling, but he is killing it. I mean, he is doing some massive deals.
I don't know. You got all these young guys and girls that are just quitting their jobs.
I'm down. Because it motivates me. I don't know why. I'm just so impressed because I just see so many people that, my wife, her dad read Napoleon Hill and Jim Rohn. They're motivational philosophers, and then no one has ever heard of Jim Rohn. So when I just don't meet people that want to make a difference in their own life. I don't care what you do with your money. It's better than watching TV all day and working for someone else and having a pipe dream that you're never going to do. I mean, we should all dream, but we have to take action to do something to do that. And it's a life decision to quit your job and never go back.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it was difficult for my wife because she loved her job. She has several degrees, and this was her deal. She loves helping people, and she quit her job. I thought that would never happen. What was your job like when you went in there and said, I'm out? What did they try to ask you what you're going to do, or did they not try to fire, let you go? Cause they like to suck you in.
Well, they asked me if I was sure about it, and I was like, yeah, I'm 100% sure about this. I had been telling some people talking to them about investing and how I could get into it, and I knew another person who had a couple properties, and he helped me convince me a little bit too. So I just committed. I was like, I'm doing this.
Cool. So
I'm getting out.
So you have this tenacity. Obviously, I mean, you don't look fat at all. So how much weight did you lose?
Well, actually, I'm like 190 right now. I was 195 when I was fat. But I'm a lot more muscular than I now.
See, homie, I'm like 60 pounds overweight. So when I hear fat, I think of myself. All right.
I wasn't able to go. I refereed soccer. I wasn't able to move on because I looked out of shape when I just held a lot more fat than I had muscle at the time.
So how do you stay committed?
How do I stay committed?
Like, how'd you commit to this? Like, is there naysayers out there that said, "Oh, you're going to be back"? There's a story of a friend. I can't wait to get him on the radio. He worked for a job for 12 years, and they're like, "You're going to fail. You're not going to go well. You can't make as much money as you're making here." And he's doubled his income.
Yeah.
And we'll get him on soon enough. I don't want to ruin that one, but has anyone been a naysayer? Oh, you're not going to do it.
Yeah.
Like, what do they say?
Unfortunately, it was my dad.
Oh man.
Was not happy about the risk I took. Very, very upset. And
are your parents still together?
No.
They're separated?
No,
okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So I was talking to him, and you could tell he was wanting me to succeed. He wants me to, and then he's not happy about it. He told me at one point, he said, the market in Oklahoma City, you can't do it here. And at that point, when he said it, I was like, all right, I just got to take everything he says with a grain of salt.
True.
Can't listen to it like
well,
that.
He just wants to protect you. But, here's the thing that's interesting. You're glowing here in this little studio. You're smiling. It's contagious. What is success, though? I mean, I think, we rode together for 8 hours yesterday. And some people says I worked hard, and some people I played all day. But we rode all day yesterday, just kicking it. What is success, right? I mean, you can make no money and be successful. I remember when I first paid off one of my houses, and I was a bachelor living on $1,000 a month, and I was debt free, and I had enough income coming in, $1,000 a month, and I didn't have to worry. I was already in the freedom zone. What's success for you? What would it be for you? Was it a number? Is it a houses? Is it?
I haven't set any numbers to it. I mean, like I said, I have a goal of, next year, 12. My ultimate goal is 12, so one a month for income properties. But I want to just build as many assets that I can to have a good monthly cash flow to where I can do whatever I want. Me and my wife, we love traveling. I mean,
cool.
I proposed to her, on the beach, and went to Costa Rica for our honeymoon. We like to travel.
That's awesome.
So,
and you got to pay for that somewhere.
Yeah. Next year, we're gonna go to Europe for 4 weeks is our plan. So,
dude, you need to do it, especially you're newlywed, and man, live it up and you're young. Man, I'm telling you, have kids at 30. I don't know. I just.
Well, that's my goal. I told her the other day, actually, after I started talking with you and everything, I was saying, hey, we're going to be millionaires before we have kids. Our goal is, have kids at 29, 30. I was like, I'm going to have $1 million net worth before we have kids.
Yep.
And
you can do it.
I'm going to write that as a goal.
That's a great goal. I mean, that's I did it. You can do it. I don't know if I did it before 30 though. No, it wasn't before 30. But anyway, yes, you can buy enough property if you buy it right, like 70%. But $30,000. So let's just think about it. You buy one property for $70,000. It's worth $100,000. You just made $30,000 in equity. Buy 10 of those. It's kind of $1 million. It's not $1 million net worth, but it's $1 million. And then you just. Yeah, it's totally possible. I think that's a doable goal. I think 5 years you'll do it with your tenacious, with your personality. Yeah, but I think it's a great goal because when you write that down. All right, so have you had an idea of a plan of? I know I've seen you at every class now. So so you're driven. You're going to do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
What books have you read so far that has motive? I know you've read Rich Dad Poor Dad. We love that book, but. You were reading Robert G. Allen?
Yeah, I was just reading.
Tell me about.
Finished Nothing Down.
Okay.
My idea is just some creative financing ways to
acquire.
Yeah, acquire properties with money from the sellers, private investors, partners. So that's one thing I'm learning to do because. Obviously, I mean, right now, if the bankers listen to this, they know I quit my job. So,
well, like I told you, remember that first time? I was like, "Do not tell them."
Yeah.
And you need to go borrow money as soon as possible.
Yeah.
But your wife has her job. She's been there how long?
Over a year.
Yeah.
Over a year
so,
now.
I think you're okay. You could quickly go borrow some money, and I would definitely develop a relationship with the bank right now. I would not say I'm, thinking about quitting. But, some banks are weird. But there's other banks out there that understand real estate, community banks.
Yeah.
And, I think you'll be fine. I mean, unless you got like $80,000 in credit card debt, you should be.
No, I don't.
Should be.
No, we're pretty good about managing our finances.
All right. Now, what's it been like? How long has it been that you haven't had a job?
Actually, today I got my last check for all my vacations. So,
cool. Put that in the bank.
It's been... 3 weeks.
Okay.
3 weeks, yeah.
So the first week, were you sleeping in?
No, I wasn't. I was always getting up earlier. I always stay up late because my wife worked like afternoons to nights. So I always stayed up late until about midnight when she got home.
Kicked it with her. And then...
Yeah, I talked with her as we were as she's winding down. And then, I'd wake up 9 o'clock in the morning and I would be started reading and trying to educate myself. I mean, the first day we had a friend in town, so we didn't do much, or I didn't do much. But as I've been getting a routine set of exercising, so I got a lot of
cool
time that I can now manage for myself, and then get into starting looking at deals and educating myself so that in the future, when these deals come up, I can go to the banks, I can go to try to find these partners. For the deals that present themselves.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. Man, I can just listen to you all the time. Okay, so what else? What else can I say? I'm lost for words. I'm mesmerized that you've quit your job, that you've only been 3 weeks. You're already on the radio show. I suggested one book and you've read it. All right, what's some goals that you have right now? Do you have an action plan set up yet? I know you're still developing and still getting things together. Do you have any of those things, or what advice would you give so far to someone? Let's do that first. What advice would you give anyone, or do you have any advice since it's so new?
Yeah, it is so new to me. But just make sure you have some cash reserves, definitely some money to carry yourself, a couple months. I mean,
true.
Some of these people that you've been talking to, bringing on your podcast, the young ones, I mean, they all had no jobs. Luke was the first one where he's he said he was worked at a skating rink.
Yeah.
And then he got into it. He's got, what, 15 units now?
Yeah, he's killing it.
So
and he wholesales pretty heavily.
yeah, I mean, you can do it without a job, but, just make sure you got a little cash reserve, or, if you want to move back in with your parents. I mean, I live in my own house.
No,
but
I wouldn't do that. Don't go back. Go forward. All right.
yeah.
Cool. Well, Andrew, is there anything else you want to say? Because we're going to bring you back on anyway, so it'll be a lot more. We're going to record your whole real estate growth.
No, I'm looking forward to it. I don't have anything right now, but I'm just looking forward to meeting everybody in this area and the process and the journey.
Okay, awesome.
Through this, yeah.
All right, check it out. Well, Andrew has an email. He's going to throw out his email. Shoot Andrew a email. Connect with him. Luke out there, Young Cat, Sean McVicker. You guys you should have like the young entrepreneur real estate guru club.
With the young guns, right?
Yeah,
here.
I mean, and definitely kick it with them. Here's some quick advice. I would call, my mentor when I started. I just said, hey, can I roll with you? Can I work for you for free? What can I do? And I would just roll in his pickup truck, and he would just show me houses. I own this house. I own this house. There was one time he had 3 houses line by line, and I'm like, and I'm trying to buy houses too. And I was actually buying houses from him on owner financed, which I was still young and didn't know what I was doing. And I noticed that he had three different real estate realtors on there, and I was like, "Bro, why didn't you use the same realtor?" He's like, "I keep them hungry, and being competitive." And you just pick up on little things. It just accelerates your time. Anthony Robbins says he wanted to be the best speaker, and he was just so young, and he was seeing guys that were making $30,000 a speech, and he wanted to be there. And how he got to his stardom so fast at such a young age. He just duplicated it faster. So, for example, most speakers in general speak on the weekend or speak once a week or maybe twice. So what this guy did, crazy, he spoke 3 times, in the morning, at lunch, and dinner, anywhere and everywhere he could. He just accelerated. So think about it. In 1 week, he did 21 speeches per se. Now, he probably didn't, probably 20 or 15, but you get the gist. 52 weeks times 10, do the math. I mean, he was an expert within 3 years, and he was demanding within 3 years of starting his speaking career, he was demanding $30,000-$40,000 to speak. So, I mean, so get with anyone you can get with as soon as possible. Let them roll with them. Serve them. Call Pat. You called me. We're hooking up. I'm coaching you right now. I'm excited to see how far. I give you homework. You do it. I mean, I'm like the greatest thing. I get so excited. We're about to analyze 3 deals already. We're trying to figure out how to get them on a contract, try to figure out how to get them with no money down, and use other people's money. So you'll be back on your first deal. We're going to bring you back on the radio. And, it's only been 3 weeks. Document this. But no matter what, is it cool? Shoot out your Gmail account.
Yeah.
No one spam this cat. He's available. He'll be at the classes. He's going to be at this class coming up on Thursday. Email him. He'll be at the RIAs. Get to know Andrew.
My Gmail is drewbuysokc@gmail.com.
All right, so that's DREW.
Yeah, buys.
BUYS OKC. All right, at gmail.com. Get to know Andrew, and if you have any questions for him or encouragement, just do it. Anyway, if you have any other questions, you can text it in. Text ASK, ASK, to 545454. We'll get it on the radio, and we'll try to help you out. Anyway, it's been a pleasure to meet you, Andrew, and I look forward to seeing you grow and be a millionaire within 5 years. So that's his goal. He's going to be a millionaire in 5 years, and he'll do it, and we'll have him back on the radio show. If you like this show and you want to hear other shows, go to the SavvyRadioShow.com. That's SAVVY radioshow.com. Thanks, peeps. Remember financial freedom. Live for the moment, and have a good day.